there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. And I, of course, am Mr. Warren Hayes. I don't know what it sounded a lot cooler in my head when I was thinking about, maybe I should just be a little silly and do a little, but no, that'll learn me for trying to do something interesting and fresh on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, which just happens to be my show right here on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. It is the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, where we talk about professional wrestling. We talk about the week in professional wrestling, the highlights, the lowlights, and everything in between. Well, maybe not everything, but a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in a week of wrestling that I don't think we could cover successfully from top to bottom. I just think it'd be a 6-hour show, and no one wants that. No one wants to see me talking wrestling or listening to wrestling for 6 hours. Nobody, not even my kids would want that, and they're my kids. I don't see who would want that. So we're not even going to tempt fate. We're going to keep on moving here. Tonight, I want to welcome you, of course, to the show, nice and proper, in case you don't feel already welcome here on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, because yes, we do record live every Thursday night, 9 p.m., youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. So I say it one more time, youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. And by recording live, that also means that we get some wonderful people jumping into the live chat here this evening to join us and be a part of the event, the spectacle. That is the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. Such as tonight, we have Tom, aka Sengir Vampire, is here. Thank you, Tom. Tim Travers here as well. Robert Sterling, how you doing? Kelly Tonjes, after a hard week of teaching her students in the COVID environment. Much respect to you. Thank you for being here. We've got Robert Larry as well. Good to see you, Robert. We have, let me see here. We have Carlos, who's in here as well. Go Indy Now. Joe, good to see you too. We have William Davis. Hello, William. Nice to see you popping in here. Ben is here as well. Nice to see you. Benoit Parise. We have Mr. Fantastic, who's here. We have Aaron Entertainment, who's here. Evan Wright as well. Nikki, how you doing? Anthony Suter, formerly of Smart to Death, who is here as well. And Nick Wolf, DGMC. By God, it just keeps going. Anthony, take a breather, man. Step back. It's not always about you. Breathe, man. But it's good to see everyone here live tonight on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. And if you want, here, let me just, okay. We talk a lot here. Well, when I say we, Daniel Price, how you doing? Good to see you. We talk a lot here, and when I say we, I mean I talk a lot about ways of supporting the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. The Patreon, the super chats, joining the channel to get emojis and so forth. But here's the thing, those are ways, of course, very direct ways to support the show. But there's very small ways in which you can support the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, especially on YouTube. Very, very small ways that cost free. That don't cost a dime. It's very easy. You like the video, you hit a thumbs up on it, or a thumbs down. Either way, it helps the show a lot. It really does help YouTube understand that what I do here is appreciated, and YouTube needs to put that out more. That stuff really helps. Subscribing, if you haven't, that's cool. But here's the thing. I like to think that I earn y'all's subscriptions, because your time is precious. Your notifications get crazy in your day. I don't want to bombard all of you with extra notifications on top of where you're like, not this asshole again. And then you just swipe me away from your phone. Yeah, I like to think that if you're subscribed to me, you really enjoy what I do, and I worked for it, and I appreciate your subscription. Comments in YouTube comments, that helps out a lot. Like, not the live chat, I mean actual comments on the video's description. That stuff really, really helps out. And you can comment anything, and you can start threads on anything. It doesn't matter. But that stuff, and it's minimal stuff. It does require a little bit of your time, but Those are really simple, really easy ways to show support for the Mr. Warren Hayes. Same thing if you're listening on your podcast application. By the way, thank you very much, and hello to all of the podcast listeners right now, because I know you're out there. There's a good number of you out there, and again, whatever platform you're listening on, show a little love there in whatever form you can. A review, a like, a heart, a subscription. Those things count immeasurably to getting everything over, to making this show grow and reach out to more people. And that means more people coming into the live chat, more people joining us. It's good for everyone. And we have a good time talking about wrestling in the meantime. And that's a good way to show that, hey, it's like, Warren, we appreciate you. Just as simple as that. Really, really easy. Of course, you can drop super chats. Of course, you can join the channels. Of course, you can go to patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes and support there as well. We're going to do a post show again tonight. We're going to be talking about WWE music and how it stinks, among other things. But so these are all things that are possible as well. But I know in these times, money isn't necessarily flowing for a lot of people. These little things really, really help out. And I appreciate it. You know what else I appreciate? My Discord, the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord, which is on Discord. Guys, join it. Just go on in. The link is in the description. I know there's a link right here, if you want to just type it in. But you can't click on the video because otherwise it's going to press pause. But the link is in the description of the video. Join the Discord. There's cool people. Chat. Talk. It's fantastic. There are, and we don't just talk about wrestling. There's different channels for all sorts of stuff. Hell, there's even a channel for the G1 if that's all you want to talk about. So we can absolutely do that. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. So go over there onto the Discord. That's a good time. Oh, and by the way, this weekend it's the GCW Collective. There's a dozen wrestling shows happening from tomorrow Friday to late Sunday night, and I'm not making any promises at this point, but I just might do a GCW Collective recap show because I'm going to be watching pretty much all of them, and there's going to be lots of great matches. Look, I'm looking Joey Janela, his Spring Break 4. I've been watching those, and I'm looking forward to that one. Looking forward to the Shimmer show. For the Culture show. Those are, and of course, the cherry on this Sunday, a cherry of violence, blood sport. I'm looking forward to watching all of those. So I might just do a recap of the whole weekend, not necessarily every show or every day, but the whole weekend. But hey, keep your eyes on the channel. Look, this is a good moment to keep your eyes on the channel if you want to subscribe and make sure that you don't miss out. There'll probably be a live stream that'll pop up at some point. I just don't want to make any undue promises because, my God, there's a lot of wrestling. Because on top of that, the G1 is still happening. It's good to be a wrestling fan these days. So there you go. Hey, let's take a couple of super chats. I did get a couple of super chats. Some that landed before the show even started, which is fantastic. And thank you very much. First of all, from Tom Sengir Vampire, left a super chat. Thank you very much, Tom. He said, not feeling too well tonight. I thought I would wish you good luck with the show and then go to bed. Have a good night, Tom. Sorry to hear you're not feeling great. Hopefully you'll be back on your feet really, really fast, brother. Robert Sterling left us a very nice super chat. Thank you very much, Robert. I very, very much appreciate it. He says, I did it again. I'm watching the G1 from this morning. LOL. I'll catch the replay of the show later. Have a good night, all. Yeah. Robert doesn't want to watch the Mr. Warren Hayes show live. He's afraid to get it spoiled. Can't say I blame him. But there's some good stuff to talk about. I can't wait to get into it. Anakin JMT left us a super chat as well. Thank you very much, Anakin. He says, still looking for people to play Among Us before SmackDown tomorrow. Want to be the imposter and eliminate Warren? Hey! Hit me up on Twitter, he says. Yeah, we are. We're trying to get a group together, a little group of people to play Among Us within the Discord. Join the Discord, man. This is the kind of stuff that if you're in the Discord, you will not miss out on. So we're going to try and get Among Us. just check it out. It's free on mobile devices. I think it's like under $5 on Steam. Like, it's a ridiculous. It's like minuscule monies, and it's a fun game, kind of like Mafia and Werewolf, but in space, and you do stuff, and it's a video game, and it's pretty cool. So if you guys want to check that out, hit up Anakin on Twitter or join the bloody Discord. I don't know how many times I have to tell you people. There I go already. But thank you very much for the super chats already, folks. I see the other super chats popping up, but we're gonna get to them when we reach that topic. Let's go right ahead and let's just start talking about this week's G1 Climax 30 recap. All right, well, we have officially passed the halfway point, in regards to the G1 this week. We are in our home stretch, folks. Let's get to it. Let's start talking about it right now then. Let's start talking about about night 9, which started with Shingo Takagi versus Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Pimp. It wasn't a bad match, but I can't get into Yujiro matches. I just can't. For multiple reasons, and I know a lot of you know what those multiple reasons are. Shingo was ready to get more points. I'm still waiting for our boy Shingo to really pop off and, have the run that I predicted he'd have, so that my at least I wouldn't look so bad after my G1 predictions, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, this was, it was all right. But like I said, I really have trouble getting into Yujiro matches. I just do. I can't do it. Jeff Cobb defeated our boy Jay White. What? But this was actually a pretty good match. I loved how great White was at selling Cobb's offense. And talk about Jay White getting strong styled on this one. And this is something that I really like about the Jay White character. When we talk about strong style, he when I talk about going all strong style on each other, when I talk about it, when I recap stuff, it's basically when both wrestlers are in New Japan are in the middle of the ring and they just start either clocking each other with forearms or chops, and they're just like, come on, bring it on. They're challenging each other to knock the shit out of the other guy. When Jay White does it, especially against really bigger guys, stronger guys like Jeff Cobb, despite the fact that he's a heel, despite the fact that he's the bad guy and he challenges, if Jeff Cobb just starts laying a couple into him and he lays one into him, and Jay White instantly drops. Whereas usually when you get a strong style exchange, both guys are going to trade them, but Jay White is like, no, this is too much. I love it. I love it at every occasion. I think it's great. Cobb looked good. I think his tournament is really picking up. He's been looking better and better and better. This is also a big win for him. Former IWGP Heavyweight Champion Jay White, one of the top tier guys in the company. A big win for Cobb, if you ask me, on this one. So good job. Kazuchika Okada defeated Minoru Suzuki. This match should have been better. This isn't the first time that Suzuki and Okada fight each other. I will always remember the match that they had outside at the Pirate Festival, if I remember correctly, is what it called. I think it's been 2 years ago already. They had a match outside at a festival in Japan called the Pirate Festival in the pours of rain. There were puddles of water being formed in the ring. They wrestled to a time limit draw. Spoiler alert! But it's still a great. I think it's I have to say spoiler alert before actually saying the spoiler, right? That's how it works. It was a great match nonetheless. This, all right. I mean, the stories are being flipped around by people who follow New Japan, right? the story about Okada no longer having it, then being like, oh, he's showing that he doesn't exactly have the stuff to win anymore. He doesn't pull out the Rainmaker. What's going on, kind of thing. And so that's the narrative that they've been pushing, a lot of people, and I myself. But then there's a lot of people, the same people, who are complaining that his matches are lackluster. Now, if the story is Kazuchika Okada is not having good matches because he's losing his touch, and he's having lackluster matches, doesn't that make sense to you? Right? If he's not the Rainmaker and he's not having great Rainmaker matches, that makes sense. So there's a lot of people that are saying, on one hand, the story is that Okada isn't having good matches, and there's a problem with him. And then in the same sentence or the same paragraph or the same thought process, with their other hand, they're saying, but his matches suck. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is a bold booking decision for your story to be one of the top stars of my company. I'm going, let me rephrase that. Let me start that from the start. It is a very bold decision, a very bold booking decision. If Gedo went, you know what? One of the top stars of my company, one of the greatest of all time, is going to be booked to suck. Yeah, that is a very, very bold story to tell. So if Okada starts pulling out some of the magic again, then people will be like, oh, it was a story all along. But I'm fascinated right now at people saying, oh, his matches are unspectacular, while they're saying, oh, I love the story. If he was having Okada level matches, it wouldn't work. Anyway, that being said, Okada versus Suzuki breaks my heart because these are two wrestlers that I love fondly. This was one of the dullest matches of the G1 right here. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Taichi. We're still talking about night 9. This, on the other hand, ruled. And it involved Taichi, who is having a very, very, very good, very, very, very good tournament. Look, we knew Taichi could have good matches. We knew, we've seen it happen before. But it always feels like whenever he feels like it, and he's been bringing it, it's been good. Ishii might be the MVP of the tournament again this year. He hasn't had a single bad match so far. And he's only had good to fantastic matches again, and elevating everyone he's working with again. But Taichi, man, here's a guy that I thought was going to coast in the COVID era, getting the straps, the tag team straps with Zack Sabre Jr. I thought he'd be like, I'm fine, man. And then he was just going to be the asshole Taichi. Then I'm like, why are we even giving this perennial mid-carder man? Why are we giving him the time of day? But he's been great. He's been having a fantastic tournament. I love how strongly they went after each other. Taichi keeps the cheating at a minimum. He keeps the cheating at a minimum, but the finish here was fantastic with some huge moves being traded. Brainbuster by Ishii seals the deal. I want to say Reed is what I'm trying to say. Nick Wolf's super chat here that he left us. That was the hardest lean in ever. Nick Wolf, who says, I'm going through a rough stretch. 3 straight losses for my Lord Taichi. 3 straight losses. Keep me in your thoughts. We're going to keep you very much. We're all behind you, Nick. I know that strong beginning, 3 in a row, then 0-3. We feel for you, Nick. Everyone, press F for Nick in the chat. I think he deserves it. I think he does. So there we go. So that was Tomohiro Ishii versus Taichi. Next, the main event was Kota Ibushi versus defeating Will Ospreay. This, bear with me here. This was the most average spectacular match I've seen all tournament so far. You know what I mean? The action was fast, great acrobatics, strong work from both guys, showing off their heavyweight strengths, but it didn't click. There wasn't like a spark. It was just like, look at these guys doing fantastic things, but it didn't mesh. I don't know. They had a great finishing sequence, and I really loved the moment where Ibushi ducked the hidden blade from Will Ospreay, which is a move that took Ibushi out from action last year. But it just weird like that. Very, very spectacular yet dull match. Night 10 started off with Hiroki Goto defeating Toru Yano. Now, Goto defeated Toru Yano, the king of pro wrestling, right? The king of professional wrestling. Toru Yano. And he defeated him in 18 seconds. Hiroki Goto defeated the king of professional wrestling in 18 seconds. What the hell? Now, seriously. How can you not book Goto to win the G1 at this point if he rolls up the king of professional wrestling within 18 seconds to defeat him? Tell me how he is not in the direct position to not only win B Block, but the whole tournament itself and Wrestle Kingdom. You booked yourself into a corner there, Gato. There's actually a lot of speculation that Goto was hurt because he also had another very quick match last week as well. So, but he did have a standard match actually tonight. So thankfully he seems okay. It was just a little weird there. Maybe they were just padding for an injury here. Sonata defeated Zack Sabre Jr. in a fun match. These two guys have great chemistry together. It's something we knew that. Jr. was clearly ready to go long game against Sonata, but Sonata was like, he was having none of it. He was like, nope, I'm cutting you off at the pass. This was good. I liked it. Good psychology, good story. Dug it tremendously. Evil defeated Juice Robinson. This was fine. But man, the Bullet Club shenanigans with Dick Togo are overshadowing everything else in Evil's thing. And I get it. It's like, I keep telling y'all, I get it, but it's really casting a shadow. Evil wins with a low blow and everything is Evil. Juice looked fine. Dominated for a portion of the match. I get what they're doing, but geez, Evil matches are sort of turning into tedium. Not because he's a bad worker. It's the interference, man. The interference. And this wasn't even as egregious as other matches we've seen. Now, Tetsuya Naito defeated Yoshihashi. Now, on the surface, you look at this result and you say, Warren, everything is fine with the universe. However, this was a fantastic match. This was a fantastic match. Now, Yoshihashi and Tetsuya Naito had a fantastic match together. Now, is this one here, does this happen because of Naito? Because Naito, I don't think this is something that people are talking enough about. Tetsuya Naito is carrying all of his opponents so far in the G1 to great matches. Every single time. He has been motivated. He's been consistently great. Every match he's had so far has been gold. He hasn't had even a match where you go, this wasn't as good. These have all been fantastic matches. So is Yoshi-Hashi shining because of Tetsuya Naito's greatness? Maybe, but at the same time, Yoshihashi has been a surprise in this tournament. He has been breaking out with some really good work. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Every time I like to rag a lot on Yoshihashi. But I know the guy can work. I know he can go. We've just never quite seen it, or he's a little sloppy, or just the presentation goes like but I would never I never thought he was a terrible worker. Maybe not the greatest, but definitely not terrible. And here he's proving that he's even better than what I thought. This was very, very good. A fun one. I mean, and I hope he sends Naito a gift basket at the end of the year for Christmas, because Naito stayed like 11 minutes in the butterfly lock, just like dying. So I hope Yoshi-Hashi sends him a little something, a little thank you note. Yoshihashi getting out of all those destinos, he was seeing them coming. He was ready. His game plan was set. He had studied the champ. This was good stuff. It was a very, very solid match. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Kenta. This was actually the second time, only the second time these two men have ever fought each other. And man, Kenta brought it. He's been having a really good tournament. He's been having his best matches in this tournament since coming back from New Japan, or since coming, period, to New Japan, not even coming back. I thought this was as good as their G1 match they had last year, which I was a big fan of. Kenta working over Tanahashi's legs is definitely part of a larger story that New Japan is telling in regards to Tanahashi's legs. Commentary often putting over the fact that he has arthritis. He's always in therapy for his legs, always looking out for them. So this is definitely part of a larger story that wasn't just specific to this match. Tana wins this year. Kenta won last year. And he hit 3 twist and shouts. The ace is high, and finished the match with the clover leaf instead of the high fly flow. Good stuff. Fun main event. But honestly, Naito versus Yoshihashi was a lot better, which is wild. What is 2020? I don't know. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Yujiro Takahashi. The Tokyo Pimp. I mean, I told you I can't get into Yujiro matches, but my boy Tommy here, he did his best. He did his best. She delivered some crazy strikes, including one insane headbutt towards the end as well. Here's a fun fact for y'all. Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Pimp, defeated Tomohiro Ishii for the never openweight title. I think back in 2014. My. How the tables have turned. How the turntables have turned. Kazuchika Okada defeated Jeff Cobb. Not much of a surprise here. It was a fine match to prolong the Okada storyline that we were talking about earlier. He wins with a cradle again. No Rainmaker. Cobb looked really strong here. I think he's been adapting well to the New Japan style this year, and I think he's really grown within the tournament. This is a pretty good match. Will Ospreay defeated Minoru Suzuki. Well, if this ain't just shitty, because I thought we were gonna have Grandpa was gonna teach this whippersnapper some manners, but that's not what happened. He tried though. By God, he tried. It wasn't a bad match, but certainly not as good as we might have expected. And Minoru Suzuki here, a thing to point out, and the boys over at Voices of Wrestling pointed this out as well. He did a La Mistica, which is something we don't see every day, and it's pretty impressive to see a 50-plus-year-old do it. And a La Mistica is a lucha move, essentially. It's like a spinning head scissors that's turned into an armbar submission. He pulled that out, and I was like, whoa, wow. Minoru Suzuki, 50 plus years old, doing mystikas in the ring. Nuts. And the thing that irked me, that just got me is, but I get it. Again, I see where they're going. They want to establish Will Ospreay as a heavyweight, so a more grounded style. But I mean, if you're going to play a ground game, and you're going to play it against Minoru Suzuki, you better be ready. And you're entering Suzuki's wheelhouse. Suzuki should have a leg up on you. I don't know. Ospreay tried to play it and he still won. I don't know. It's a little strange. Whatever. It doesn't even matter. Okay. Jay White defeated Taichi. Evan Wright left us a super chat. I'm going to start off by reading the super chat here. Thank you, Evan, by the way. Said, we peaked this week. Taichi singing to Jay White. I agree to a certain extent. I don't think we peaked this week. I think wrestling in 2020 peaked this week because we had the purest moment in wrestling happen when Jay White, when these two perennial heels, these two top level annoying weasel bad guys are in the ring together. And as you know, you may not know this if you don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, but Taichi comes to the ring singing his theme song. And as he enters the ring, Jay White is already there, and Jay White is sitting in a chair. And Taichi comes to him and starts serenading to Jay White, who is sitting there clapping along, enjoying every single minute of it. I cannot define anything more pure than that very moment. Taichi serenading Jay White. Mwah. My God, when wrestling is good, wrestling is good. I love this so much. The two most irritating heels in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they fought each other, irritating each other. Jay White always starts a match by stalling, rolling to the outside, and Taichi countered his stall by stalling himself. It was so good. This was fun as Taichi delivered low blows all around to try and end it, but Jay White won with the Blade Runner. This match worked because of their character work, because they've transmitted their personalities to the audience, and the audience was able to understand all the facial expressions, all the little shenanigans they were pulling off. Jay White being a blabbermouth and Taichi just being his sneaky, cocky self. And it was a refreshing way to do a heel-on-heel match as well, which is something you don't see every day. You don't see something like this as refreshing as that. I loved out of pure love this match. I really did. On the same night, we had our boy Shingo Takagi, Jesus, defeating Ibushi, Kota Ibushi. And Shingo was just out to punish Ibushi, lighting him up with some fantastic forearms. Ibushi had some power moves, but of course Shingo did too. The moment where Shingo sets Ibushi up for the Made in Japan, the face that Kota Ibushi has is so fantastic. And Shingo just waits there for a second or two before powering through the move. It was fantastic. Shingo blocked the Komagoye for the Last of the Dragon. It was all power, all drama, wonderful story, wonderfully paced too. Great main event. I loved it. And then today we got night 12. Hiroki Goto defeated Yoshihashi, which was a match to show that Goto wasn't injured, which is good. He actually fought the match here. It was shorter. It was a shorter match than usual, but But still, lots of good stuff. I liked it. Super strong showing by both Goto and Yoshihashi again. It was great stuff. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Toru Yano. This was okay. Like some good comedy between these two guys. I think I would have expected a little more out of Zack Sabre Jr. because he's a funny guy. He understands comedy. He has a good, he's funny. I felt that their interactions were a little lacking between all of us here. And I also think the match could have shaved off a couple of minutes, but hey, that's just me. Sanada defeated Kenta. I thought this was okay. It was all right. Kenta kept looking good in defeat. Nonetheless, Sanada racking up some points. I mean, I don't have much to say about it. I thought it dragged. That was okay. Not a bad match, but I thought it dragged a little bit. But it's just my opinion. I want to say hello to Abhinav Tirumala. Good to see you. Tetsuya Naito, again, with a fantastic match, defeated Juice fucking Robinson in an absolute banger. A fantastic match. I watched it earlier today, catching up, and I was floored at how good this match was. Naito, like I said earlier, I don't know if it's Naito just carrying everyone into these amazing matches, but you got to give some props to Robinson. Now, I don't think Juice has been having as good a tournament or as surprising a tournament as Yoshihashi. I think Yoshihashi's been more consistent. Juice had a couple of his match with Evil, I don't think was, I thought it was kind of dull. Thought his match was with, I think, was it Kenta? Yeah, I think it was his match with Kenta that I thought was, that wasn't great either. This though, this was great. And I love how Naito, he fucks around a lot with Juice to start off with. He's not taking Juice seriously at all. He goofs on him. He's not taking him seriously, but Juice at some point just turns it up. Fantastic. He even hits, God forbid, bless you, Juice Robinson, he hits a jackhammer. He forces me to talk about the jackhammer on my show. Not to get you, Juice Robinson. Juice blocks there's even this great moment where Juice blocks a tornado DDT from Naito. He lifts Naito into a suplex position, but Naito reverses out of it and lands a short Destino. Great stuff. This was a really, really good match that ultimately should have been the main event because I don't think the main event delivered. Evan Wright left us a super chat, by the way. Thank you very much, Evan. He says, Juice Robinson has quietly becoming my favorite person in the G1. Backstage promos, his match with Naito, his match with the Yoshihashi guy rules. Oh, no, with Yoshihashi, guy rules. I'll learn how to read. Look, Juice has been having some of the best matches of it. I think this match with Naito is the best match of his career in New Japan. He's been having great matches. I think he's been uneven. His promos, amazing. He's so natural, one part goofy, one part serious. I think he's got a great balance going on. I think this is a tournament where a lot of wrestlers are proving a lot of people wrong. Yoshihashi, Juice Robinson are the spearheads of this situation here. They're really turning it up for a B block, which was written off as being unspectacular, and yet we're getting wonderfully surprising matches from people that we didn't expect much out of. So, I mean, isn't that great? Isn't that why we love pro wrestling? Just to be surprised like that? I think so. And the main event was Evil defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi. Again, really too much. And honestly, this one had too much Gato shenanigans in it. This one bothered me. It really, really did. Hell, even Tsuji got involved, who's the young lion who's been attached to Tanahashi. Even he got involved, and I don't know. Okay, but definitely nothing to write home about. Definitely nothing that you'll miss. It's okay. Oh, yeah. Anakin JMT left a super chat just of Goldberg emojis. I hate you. But thank you for the super chat. Evan Wright left us a super chat. Thank you very much, Evan. Again, he says, his first match, talking about Juice Robinson, his first match with Mox is still my favorite of Juice's NJPW run. That and this Naito match are his peak, and he can only go up, in my opinion. His inaugural match with Jon Moxley, the first one, like Mox's debut, right? That's the one we're talking about, I think. Was it his debut? Yeah, it was his debut. That was really good. It was great. And he tried going all very serious, and stuff. I think Juice needs a bit of the goofiness. And Juice connects with the audience. He's super over in Japan. The Japanese audience really, really love Juice Robinson as well. So yeah, it's really good stuff. Choking. That'll teach me to drink gin on air. It's not gin, it's water. Excuse me. So this is where we stand right now in the positions in the blocks. Block A, we still have 4 people tied for first place at 8 points. Jay White, Kota Ibushi, Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada. I don't think there's much surprise there to have those 4 guys vying for the tip top position. Second place has 4 people vying for tied for second at 6 points. Tomohiro Ishii, Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, and Shingo Takagi. Jeff Cobb is in third place at 4. And Yujiro Takahashi still has... Excuse me, what am I talking about? Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Beam, hasn't scored a single point. He is officially written out of the finals. There's no way he can win at this point. So that's it. 0 points for him. He's going to be a spoiler at this point. He's going to be he's at some point he's going to win a big match against someone and just throw some stuff away. Block B, we have Tetsuya Naito in first place with 10 points, the only wrestler at 10 point with double digits at this point. So that's something. Evil in second place at 8. Then we have Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, Juice Robinson, Sonata, Zack Sabre Jr., and Hiroki Goto, all tied at 6 points. We have Kenta with 4 points, and poor old Yoshihashi all the way down there at 2 points. Effectively, Yoshihashi is as well going to be a spoiler. He is not going to make it to the finals, despite him having a really, really, really good tournament. Shame, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. There's Jeff Cobb and Kenta are on the verge of being eliminated. It'll all depend on what happens on the next night. They have to win all 3 of their next matches. And Kenta has to win his next 3 matches. Plus he has to defeat Naito in one of those 3 matches to even have a chance. And then Naito has to lose his 3 matches if Kenta even wants to smell the possibility of being in the finals. Because Evil still might have a good tournament, so on and so forth. But yeah, there's still stuff. There's still stuff that may happen here. But Yujiro, he's out. Yoshihashi is out. Kenta and Jeff Cobb, they're on the verge. Unless Kenta goes on a winning streak. Well, especially Kenta. I think Jeff Cobb is out at this point. Kenta, you could see him going on a 3-match winning streak. He has to defeat Naito. Naito has to lose all of his matches. It's a tough one. It's a tough sell, but you never know. You never know. Want to say hello to Throwback, who just joined us in the chat. Good to see you, Throwback. As well as Wrestling Plug Inc. and our boy Wild Boy is here as well. Good to see everyone tonight. Well, you're arriving just on time as we move along from the world of Japan. That was the G1 recap for the week. time now to move on to the weekly wrestling inspection. Now, we did have a couple of super chats that maybe we should talk about here before we move on. I want to say hello first and foremost to Injection 2K. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Anakin left us a super chat. Thank you again, Anakin. Says, who chokes more, Warren drinking water or Sasha defending a title? Sasha defending a title. Evan Wright left us, thank you for the super chat. Evan Wright left us a super chat as well. Thank you very much. She says, follow up on Jay clapping for Tai Chi. Amazing. Oh, man. I swear, it's my favorite wrestling moment of the year. It is absolutely my favorite moment of the year. I loved it so much. Anyway, so there we go. Let's go right ahead. Let's start talking about I'm going to start talking about WWE, but I'm not going to go too deep into certain things because the draft is coming up and there's a lot of wild stuff that is probably going to happen. I almost said wild boy, but I said wild stuff. Wild boy! And we're going to start by giving out some warm soda here. We're going to start by giving out some more soda. Sasha Banks came back too early, and I think we got the confirmation on Friday on SmackDown. She came back way too quickly. We have the proof. There's no real organic excitement to it. With the beat, I think I've talked about it, and I don't quite remember, but I think I talked about it. I really do think that with the beating that Sasha took, which was over, like, that lasted over 3 segments on Raw, on SmackDown. She should have been gone from our minds for a while. Yes, I do remember talking about this. And Bayley gets soft defenses, and a couple of months later, Sasha comes back unexpectedly, and everyone just goes, pow, like that. So the fact that she came back so early and she's cutting promos already, it's deflating the situation. Oh, yeah. I didn't see people really get hyped for the Hell in a Cell match announcement. I think the match is going to prove us wrong, but the announcement, everyone's like, oh, really? This is what we're doing? Sasha's back and it's, oh, okay. It should not be, oh, okay. They really should have stretched it out. They really should have let the heel Bayley mock her while she was gone. Just like be an asshole. And then she's have the surprise come back and have the match. And it doesn't have to happen in Hell in a Cell. That's the thing. It could have, any standard wrestling match would have got us hype for Sasha versus Bayley, regardless. And we've lost our way, fans of professional wrestling and particularly WWE. We've lost our way because the Hell in a Cell is a culmination of a feud. It is not like the kickoff. It's not like the starting point. It is the apex. It's the rubberiest of all the rubber matches. This is the place where the whole feud falls into this pit of violence. And this is the only way that we can have any closure to it. It's not a kicking off point. Because they're going to be up here with Hell in a Cell. And then what are they going to do after? Because there's going to be rematches. There's going to be stuff like that, inevitably. I don't know, man. I too soon. But we'll see what happens, which is why I'm giving it warm soda, not hot trash. Wild boy! Lefty gave a super chat. Thank you very much. Says, never stop singing my name like that. Every time I see you from now on, that is how it's coming out of my mouth. I want to say hello to Brian Payne and J.S. Brown for being in the... okay, I'm not going to spoil the singing gimmick too much. I'm going to hang on to the singing gimmick for Wild Boy, though. I'm just going to make sure. Keep it special. But hey, I'm still happy to see you, J.S. Brown. I'll find another way to say her name. Maybe I'll say it with my nose pinched. J.S. Brown is here. No, not quite. No, that's actually very, very lame. And hello, Tim and Joel. Call it in the ring. Good to see you guys. Next, okay. Let's talk about Mustafa Ali. Anakin JMT left us a super chat. Thank you again, Anakin. Very, very kind of you again this evening. He says 3 words: Mustafa effing Ali. Yeah. He was the mole. He was the guy opening the doors to the arenas and the the Performance Center and the Amway Center and wherever WWE was shooting the Thunderdome. He was the guy who was puppeteering all of these events, all the Molotov cocktails and the flipping cars and all that stuff. Guys, here's the thing. This is clearly, we are not on we're not on the same big brain level as WWE, right? We're clearly not. Because if WWE has taught us anything, is that Wrestling 101, turn your natural baby faces heel. That's the best way to go about building new stars, making them interesting, all these things that make them easily relatable to an audience, that make them connect easily with an audience. Don't use that. Put them into other situations that will make them come across as jerks. But we know WWE can't create baby faces. I'm getting rid of my cushion here. You all know. They can't. WWE is inept. Top tier. Inept at creating compelling baby faces. They just think of all the very, very natural baby faces that they like. Johnny Gargano, for as long as they hold on. Johnny Gargano might be an exception. For as long as they had him, he was a white meat. Everyone connected with him. That was great. But they're unable to hang on to what makes a good baby face work. This is a guy, Mustafa Ali. He's a guy who talked about his experience in life, about wanting to do better, how hard it is to be Muslim in America. He even talked about racism in the police. This is a guy, as a cop, first and foremost, who's talking about this stuff, and you're like, I get this guy. And he's relatable. He's charismatic. He's articulate. He comes across as a goddamn professional, and he connects. He just connects like that. Why not keep going down that road? They didn't even try to give him a proper babyface run. They didn't, because they don't know how to make baby faces compelling. Look at what they did with Braun Strowman. Look at what they did with Rhea Ripley. The minute that they turned them babyface and won championships, everything. Why did we like Rhea Ripley? And these are actually two good. Why didn't we like Rhea Ripley? Because she was tall, she looked intimidating with the leather and the sneer, and she was badass, and all she wanted to come in and fuck people up, and we liked her for that. Why did we like Braun Strowman? Feats of strength, doing these unnatural things, pushing semis over, ambulances, bringing stage rigging down on people, surviving electrocution, all that shit. That's why we loved Braun Strowman. But the minute they give them the titles or turn them baby faces, then it's like, I'm so happy to be here. I worked so hard to get here. Here is this story about my past. But that's not what we thought they were compelling for. This is a hill I will die on. One of the things that ruined Rhea Ripley was her WrestleMania empty arena interviews, vignettes that she was doing, where she was sitting around and being, I can't believe I'm here. This is so fantastic. I can't do an Australian accent, and I'm kind of sounding like Ringo Starr, so I'm going to just stop right there. I don't get it. I don't understand why at that point in time, why they would do that to Ripley and just take down her mystique. Same thing with Braun Strowman. It's the exact same thing. Then they start giving him a microphone and he starts doing quips and being funny and derp. And it's like, my God, man, that's not why we liked you. And it feels awkward and cringe, and it doesn't connect. Look at Aleister Black. They kill his music. They get rid of everything that made him special. The reasons we got behind him in NXT. They decide to put a microphone in front of his face. They put him in a dark room. To say, why doesn't anyone want to fight me? I'm like, what the fuck is this guy? If I don't know who Aleister Black is, of course I'm like, what the hell is this? Oh, we're going to have to make him heel. You didn't have to make him heel. You just had to keep the mystique going. Keep it going. It was fantastic. They just don't know how to do baby faces. But I'm going to circle back to Ali here. DGMC says, Could you buy into a McIntyre for the super chat? Thank you, DGMC. I'm getting carried away. Could you buy into a McIntyre Ali title program right now? Right now, today, no, because I need to see a Mustafa Ali who is a heel, who's dastardly, and who can convince me that he has a shot. But the way he's been booked so far, I don't buy that he's a contender for anything. I don't. He's always been booked as second banana, and I get that's part of his motivation in as being the leader of Retribution. I get it. But no, as it stands right now, I don't. Now, I can't say that the former police officer who's been talking about racism in the police and how hard it is to be a visible minority in the United States, I can't tell you guys that I'm shocked that Vince once again sees people like him who challenge authority and who want to upset the status quo. I'm not surprised that Vince sees them as the heel. I really don't. And I'm going to tell you guys again, don't think for a minute that Retribution was presented from the get-go, just spontaneously like that, without being inspired by the protests. Just don't. This is, I've talked about it before. I'm not surprised that WWE did it. I'm just surprised that people don't think that WWE did it because of the protests. They clearly using imagery, fearful imagery that maybe struck fear into the heart of middle America. I've talked about this. Don't even think for a second that this isn't related. So if you bring in a heel group that is inspired by protests and your most outspoken superstar, one of your most outspoken superstar in support of these protests and a visible minority as that is added to the group, Vince thinks they're all heels. Because I've got people saying, I've seen the discussions going around online, people saying, oh, now that they've added Ali, he's such a great babyface, they're going to turn them baby faces. They won't have a choice because, and T-Bar is doing such good work on social media, they're going to have to turn them babyface. Guys, that needs an organic turn. That needs something to happen within the audience. Don't forget right now, Kevin Dunn has his finger on the heat button. There are no live audiences. WWE finally gets to tell us without any of us interfering and saying, no, we don't like this, or no, we think this person should be a heel or a babyface. Vince finally has the clear course to say, I will book these people in my vision and you will lap it up, my beautiful vision here. Listen to the reaction that Mustafa Ali is going to get next time he shows up on TV. Listen to the canned WWE 2K18 canned reactions when he comes out. Watch the Thunderdome cue people telling people in the Thunderdome, show your thumbs down. Show us how you really feel about Mustafa Ali. Show us your thumbs down. That kind of stuff. You can't turn them baby faces if there's no audience to counter cheer. It's not going to happen. These people, these people who want to tear down that great establishment that is WWE, they're heels. They're heels. And don't forget, this is a company that pushed pro-environment Daniel Bryan as a heel. This is a company that pushed anti-establishment terrorism Sami Zayn as a heel as well. Don't get me wrong here. I am thrilled that they're doing something with Mustafa Ali, that they're going to move forward with him, but it is a baffling set of circumstances. I do not understand what they are doing on this front. I just don't. And you want to hear something else I don't understand? By the way, this wasn't warm soda. This was hot trash. I apologize. But we're going to switch back to warm soda here. You know what else is baffling to me? Why isn't Bianca Belair wrestling? Why isn't she wrestling? Why are they giving her vignettes? I don't care about her athletic background. I've told you you guys, I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, goes back years when JR would try to sell me wrestlers on he's been a great collegiate athlete in such sports, and I don't give a shit. Can he wrestle? Can he get into the ring and entertain me, tell compelling athletic stories in the ring? Can he do that? I don't care if he was an All-American. Is he a good wrestler? That's all because as a wrestling viewer, that's ultimately my payoff. It's like, oh, okay, sure. Oh, he's a good athlete. Sure, fine. Okay, make him wrestle. And on top of that is that they're putting her in Bianca, they're putting her in these situations where she's competing to show that she's the fastest, the smartest. Arm wrestling match. Well, they haven't done the arm wrestling match yet, but you know that's coming. And I hate it when WWE does that. The arm wrestling matches, the foot races, we watch a show where people are in constant competition with each other. That's the whole thing. You want to show you're the best, then you do the best. You show that you're the best by competing in the ring. That's how you do it. Not by introducing me, oh, well, I can answer all these quiz questions because I'm so smart. I don't care. And it's not making her compelling to me. Make her squash people on Raw. You've got a whole performance center filled with people that you've been training. You can feed her 1 week. 2-3 minute squash. That's how you'll get her over. That's how her personality will shine. That's how we'll get to the point where we're like, all right, let's do something with her right now. This sucks. This sucks. And I have people saying, and I see this is a default reaction that we have. It's like, oh, well, at least she's getting TV time. This is another trope in regards to WWE, which I'm really, really sick of. And I'm really, really tired about. At least she's on TV. At least Chad Gable's on. They call him Shorty G. They're putting him in basketball outfit, but at least he's on TV. Hey, look how much good that made him. In WWE, it's not at least they're on TV. And I was a proponent of this. Don't get me wrong. I've had my history of saying, well, at least they're doing something with them on TV. But as things move along, as things progress, there are wrestlers that I look at what they're doing with them, and I'm like, you know what? They should take them off TV because this is hurting them. This is not doing their career any good. I don't think Bianca is there right now. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that the argument of saying, well, at least she's on TV is good, because that means that gives WWE a free pass to do whatever they want, to do any kind of shit they want. Fucking Drew Gulak, one of the best goddamn wrestlers they have in that company. A guy who can run circles around just about everyone. Former Cruiserweight champion is running for the 24/7 joke title. That's what he's doing right now. At least Drew Gulak is on TV. No, I don't subscribe to that. I really and frankly and honestly don't anymore. I think there is such a thing as bad TV, bad PR, whatever you want to call it. And some wrestlers are just going through it right now. And they're like, oh, at least I get to be on TV. No, there's no more. I'm just happy to be here. WWE has to do better. They hold the careers of these people in lockdown. I'm sorry. Let's keep going here. They hold the careers of these people in lockdown. We saw it again with the Twitch stuff and the Cameo stuff just last week. They're independent contractors, but they decide everything they do. Now it's to a point where it's like, don't even want you to engage your audience without us being involved in some way. We don't want you to involve your fans, to engage your fans. We need to be involved. So if they are going to give these performers television time, they need to do better at giving them good stuff for TV so that we don't think they become lame, because they are in complete control. DGMC left us a super chat. We're going to circle back a little bit here. when I was talking about baby faces. Imagine if 97 Austin got booked like the current faces. They tried the heel turn on him. And, you know, there's an argument to be said that it made his babyface push afterwards a little more, good because they had tried the heel stuff. But, you know, imagine Steve Austin winning the title and being like, by God, I worked all my life. You know, my dad pushed me. And then we start seeing photos of Steve Austin back when he was a kid. We didn't give a shit. Don't care. Why would they have changed that character to suddenly become more personable, more relatable? He was already relatable. He was the guy who hated his boss and liked to drink beer and just wanted to go kick people's asses. Perfectly relatable for a wrestling fan at the time. Evan Wright left us a super chat. Thank you again, Evan. Says, Excalibur told me 1 minute 30 seconds story about Will Hobbs that sold me on him as a babyface. It's not that hard. They effectively cut Rhea Ripley off bad. No, it's not. It is. You don't need extremely convoluted and video package upon video package to get us to like a wrestler. If the wrestler tells his in-ring stories right, if he's talented or she, and commentary it gets involved to tell very, very relatable stories, we'll just get behind it. We'll absolutely just get behind it. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Left a super chat. Thank you very much. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Still a very controversial username. Says Vince did Sammy the same way. Well, there you go. See, exactly. As we were talking about earlier, that, you know, people that have values that don't accord with Vince are heels. There you go right there. It's I'm glad you agree. Thank you for the super chat. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Anakin JMT left us a super chat as well. Says WWE also pushed Pro Education Matt Striker as a heel. That is true. Very good. Very, very good point. I mean, there's a lot of examples. I'm sure if we decided to just dig down, Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan, those were recent examples. Good call, Anakin. Thank you very much for the super chat. He left us another super chat as well. Thank you again. He says, were you not a fan of the Mr. Perfect vignettes? Now, there's the precursor, right? Who sets something up, and then there's everything that follows after. There's everything that comes after that. And the execution of the Mr. Perfect vignettes were just so blatantly over the top, you know, that it helped evolve his character that way. Here, it's a combination of the Mr. Perfect stuff was like, I never fail, right? So it's like, I'm in a position, look, I'll show you, and all these things I do, I never fail. Here, it's just Bianca saying, I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. And I guess they're pushing her as a babyface because she smiles a lot and she's not being, she isn't cutting any you people stuff. So she's trying to show that she's the best in environments that aren't wrestling, where she could be showing us that she's the best. So I don't get, there's nothing, just let her wrestle. Just let her wrestle. Evan Wright left us a super chat as well. Thank you very much, Evan. Says, imagine Gable in any other wrestling promotion. That's not even hard to imagine. It's not even all that difficult. Anyone at all would gobble this guy up and he would be a star. Imagine if he showed up at one of these GCW shows with Leo Rush, you know? Leo Rush versus ACH this weekend is going to rule hard, by the way. I'm going really long tonight. All right, I'm going to cut some stuff out here. All right, let's give some cool beans. I don't want to sound too negative. The dog collar match last night absolutely ruled on Dynamite, on AEW Dynamite. I really liked it. I thought it was strong. I loved how Lee was showcasing his strength throughout the match. You know, yanking Cody off of everything or through everything with the chain. That was great. He was definitely channeling his Bruiser Brody. He was definitely channeling Bruiser Brody there. Absolutely. I loved how Cody handled his big comeback too for the win. I loved it. I thought it was great. The blood. We talked about it last night a bit on the Wednesday Night Wars podcast over on Fightful. I think Cody bleeds too much, and now we expect it. So it's kind of like, it's. I feel like it's lost its dramatic impact. And if I were Cody, I wouldn't bleed for months at this point. I wouldn't bleed for months, and then bring it back on a really, really big time, huge event. Because right now I feel it's just like over and over and over and over again. I mean, it didn't distract me from the match. It didn't take me away from the match. It was cool. It's just, I feel like, okay, it's a Cody match. He's going to blade. And when it's to a point where when he doesn't, I'm surprised. When he's like, oh, he didn't blade. And I don't think that's good. But I am going to give some warm soda here, still talking about all of this. I don't know about Cody winning. I don't know. I really don't know about Cody winning the match. I mean, he goes off for a couple of weeks to film his TV show. He comes back and he's not ashamed to tell us who he's hobnobbing with. All the stars that he's hanging out with, Snoop Dogg and so on. And he comes back and he gets his title back. The title that he lost to Go Shoot the Show, he comes back. Now, it's hard to not be cynical in these situations because, quite frankly, if this was another wrestler whose the first letter of his name is H and the last letter of his name is H, if it was him who pulled that kind of stuff off, we'd all be going, oh, of course. And I don't want to be cynical with AEW. Not yet, because they haven't given me true reasons to be cynical. But there's a lot of self-serving stuff that Cody does for himself. I really hope this leads into a third match. I hope that this wasn't the last one and we're going to get a rubber match. That would make me happy. But it's, on one hand, I think Cody is doing very self-serving stuff. On the other hand, I think it's a shame to have taken the belt off of Brody Lee so soon, because Brody Lee is doing great work. And not just because of the BTE stuff. He's not getting over just because of the BTE stuff. He's getting over because of what he's accomplishing as the leader of the Dark Order in the ring. I think it's a shame that they took the title off of him. And then Cody comes back and wins it immediately back. They say they're into long-term storytelling. Well, Cody got his ass whooped the first time. What if he comes back and gets his ass whooped the second time, but not as bad? Doesn't lose within 5 minutes, kind of thing, in a complete, in being completely squashed. And then he has to come back a third time, having learned things, and then he overcoming the man mountain that is Brody Lee. That's a story I think that would have been much more interesting. But the high level of presentation that accompanies his entrance, his passionate promos, which are okay, but the promo he cut last night, we've heard it before with other words, but with the same feelings and the same intensity, the same intent. We've heard it before. I know Cody likes his Southern wrestling, and I know he likes his dad. He loves his dad, and we love Dusty too. And he wants to do good by all of that. But Dusty booked himself into a lot of championships when he was a booker. I'm just saying, I don't think the apple has fallen that far from the tree. Just saying, that was a bit of a silly jab. I don't really think that he's overhauling everything, but clearly he's in control. He's doing things that are making him look and feel good. As this promo last night, it sounded like, to me, was like, hey, thank you everyone for letting me live out my childhood fantasies kind of thing. Thank you for letting me build my promotion and then book me in this. I don't know. I really think a heel Cody would have been better with heel Bucks, heel Kenny, and all of them being like, hey, we built AEW for ourselves so that we'd have our playground, and we've been playing second banana to all of these jerks around here. Time for us to rule the roost, and then they own everything. I think that would have been a lot more compelling than this. Hey, I am really, really glad that Ember Moon is back. She was the mystery person that was revealed at TakeOver 31. I'm ecstatic for her return. She was playing us all, telling us, I don't know if my injury will ever let me return to the ring. My career may be over. She was playing us. She was working us like a bunch of marks, But hey, you know what? Here's the thing. The Ember Moon stuff, fantastic. She had a great solid return last night. My God, that dive she did to the floor on Dakota Kai was like, Ember, you just came back. Don't go injure yourself. God, I miss the Eclipse. Can you imagine if she had returned in front of a Full Sail crowd, the response she would have got? Oh my God. That said, I'm still glad she's back. And really quickly, I feel horrible for Ridge Holland and what happened to him last night on NXT. Suffered a left ankle dislocation and a fracture, and a right knee patellar dislocation and patellar tendon rupture. He had surgery today. I hope he has a very, very, very swift recovery. It sucks because they clearly were setting up a fun angle for him where he was some hired muscle to take out Adam Cole. So I was like, and it fit him so well too. I'm just a guy who likes to hurt people. My God. It's look, it's a shame. I hope he gets better real soon. DGMC says this is Ember, the female Petey Williams. I don't think she's that bad yet. It's a joke. It's a joke. Relax, everyone. It's just a joke. So there we go. There. We're done. That's the weekly wrestling inspection. Wait, no, not this, not the intro. Why is the intro playing? Shush. As you may have all heard, within the world of professional wrestling, we have upcoming very, very soon. Yes, I botched. Wouldn't be a WarrenHayes show these days if I didn't have a technical snafu. We have coming up a WWE draft, where everyone's going to be drafted. It's the time of year where all the brands that have the brand split, that thing that keeps everyone apart from each other. This is where we start mixing the peeps around. Yes, thank you, Anakin, for the super chat. Thank you very much. Saying botch. I know. So here's the deal. Here's the big deal here. We've got here's the thing. Here's what we got. We have the women's draft. What I want to do here tonight, instead of drafting the entire roster, I want to redraft the WWE Women. This is what I want to start, because I really feel that the way that the women's division is set up right now, it's very, very different. I think we can have something very, very different and try to balance things out a little bit better than what we have right now. So what we have here right now on screen is my setup. I've already set all the women from the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT rosters. Now, you're going to notice right now, if you're watching live, there's a lot of people, a lot of women wrestlers missing on the NXT tier because first of all, I'm pretty sure I heard that NXT will not be a part of the draw. So they won't be just coming in and picking out people left and right. I think they're going to play safe instead on that front. But there are women in NXT that aren't currently used, that aren't in storyline. So I didn't add them. I didn't add women who have things going on or who have storylines like Candice LeRae, like Io Shirai, Dakota, Rhea, Shotzi, so on and so forth. I kept them away from this draft here, but there are some women who are still in NXT or we haven't seen in a while or have been teased about ending up on some of the main rosters. I put them there to add to the mix. I see them more as floating as NXT, but that's the way I did it. So handle it. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Left a super chat saying, "Who's drafting Mysterio's wife and daughter?" LOL. Buddy Murphy's gonna draft. Who's gonna draft something? All right. Okay, so let's get to it. I think as it stands right now, it makes sense for the current champions to stay on their brands. I think that's something that's going to happen. There's not going to be any big trades on that level. I think Asuka is going to stay on Raw, and I think Bayley is going to stay on SmackDown. As far as Raw goes as well, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Becky Lynch is going to stay there as well. I think there's something safe about that as well. Just like I'm pretty sure that they're going to keep Sasha on SmackDown as well for a while. This isn't necessarily me saying that Sasha's going to win the SmackDown title. Besides, it doesn't matter because she's going to lose it within 24 hours. It's a joke. It's a joke. Don't send the Sasha stands after me. But I think it does make more sense for her to stay where she is. However, I do think that Bianca Belair is someone who would be sorely needed on SmackDown, especially if they're building her as a babyface, because there are no truly strong babyfaces on SmackDown. If you look at what's on the roster right now, who's on the roster right now, you have Alexa Bliss, who is clearly tweening into the heel territory, Carmella, who's probably going to be a heel, Lacey, who's a heel right now, Naomi's a babyface, wouldn't call her exactly strong. Then we have Nikki Cross as well, who, again, babyface, but maybe not your strongest candidate either. Whatever they're doing with Tamina, I think she's a heel, and Sonya Deville when she comes back, clearly a heel. So you do need some strong babyface material on SmackDown. I think it makes sense to me that Bianca Belair ends up over there. Just like I think Mickie James should end up over on SmackDown as well. As far as more like sure things that I think should stay on Raw. I think Mandy was just traded, so I think they're going to keep her there. They have a thing going with the tag team with Dana Brooke. I think they're going to keep both of them together as well. Same goes. Actually, I kind of think that the Riot Squad would be a good fit on SmackDown because they are two growing baby faces. Again, maybe not the strongest, but they're doing something with them, and they're credible both as tag team opponents and as singles competitors as well. So it makes sense for them to go over onto the SmackDown side as well. I think that they'll keep Natalya and Lana on Raw as well. I think that they'll have a very good place there. Let me just take Peyton Royce here and come and put her over on SmackDown. they want to give her a singles push. I think she'd have a better chance of breaking out as a heel on SmackDown, more than on Raw anyway. That would be my main guess. I think you want to keep Charlotte on Raw as well. I think she's top tier talent, and if you're keeping two of the horsewomen on one side, you should keep the two others on the other. And I'm really looking forward for her to come back and have some more matches against Asuka, because they ruled together. I also think that Mercedes Martinez and Mia Yim, or whatever their retribution names are going to stay on Raw as well. I think I also think Billie Kay should stay there. If they're going to split the Iconics, right? Split them proper. Just as I think that Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Zelina Vega will probably all stay there. I don't think Lacey works all that great on SmackDown. I think she'll be better suited for Raw. Just like I think, see, I'd be tempted, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna put Naomi on Raw. I know they don't like to split up the couples, right? But Uso and they're all in the same building. They're not traveling all around the country anymore. They're all in the same building. They're all in the Thunderdome. So it doesn't really matter. You know, it's not as if both the couples are going to spend months and months apart, not seeing each other for weeks on end. I think Naomi, a fresh start on Raw would do her a lot of good. Otherwise, I think keep Carmella there. Alexa Bliss should stay on SmackDown. If the Fiend is staying on SmackDown, that'll probably be a big deterrent right there. So that's something. I think Nikki Cross should move over to Raw. I think she's been through Bayley. She's been through a lot of women. I think there'd be some fresh matches to happen over on Raw as well. And, there's place for more women's wrestling on a 3-hour show than 2 hours. Keep Tamina there. She's harmless. And Sonya Deville just hanging in the background, waiting to come back. I think that would be a pretty decent setup. Now, we have 4 other women here as well that we haven't talked about that I feel could have an impact as well. The 2 of the 4 MMA horsewomen, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, they've showed up on Raw Underground, and quite frankly, I think it makes more sense for them to be there and to have access to Raw Underground if that ever does come back, because at this point we really don't know. So we'll have we'll have these 2, I think, on Raw, ready to go, ready and raring to go, for any type of situation. Plus, good solid heels. I think it's a good idea to have to have maybe the most of your tag team situation happening on Raw. It's also a good idea as well, I think. Now, Chelsea Green here. I'm looking over this here. Chelsea Green, it depends what type of gimmick they want to do with her, but if they she's supposed to pop up on main at some point. She really is supposed to do something. And you'll recall that her gimmick when she was that very, very short time that she was with the Robert Stone brand before they called her up, she was, it was glamorous, a little sexy, the starlet type gimmick that I feel they've given to Carmella. So here's what I'd do. Well, actually, I'd keep Carmella on SmackDown, if only because Corey Graves is there. But again, it doesn't really matter. And I'd go and put her. I'd go and put her on Raw. Now, I'm looking at that, and Raw is looking pretty top heavy. So maybe you keep Naomi on SmackDown and give her a proper run. keep Naomi on SmackDown and give her a proper go this time. Not just like, oh, well, maybe. No, just go for it, man. Make it happen, man. Yeah, I think that's a little more comfortable here. Then we have Vanessa Bourne here as well, which I think would be great talent for SmackDown, some enhancement talent, because that's essentially all she's been doing in her NXT career. Why not keep at it? Keep her around to make other women look good, and she has the stature, she has the look. I think you can give her a slight gimmick to appreciate that. Hell, pair her up with wait, where did I put? Well, yeah, pair her up with Carmella. There you go. Because the Vanessa Bourne did have the bougie gimmick with Aaliyah not that long ago. She could still portray that and act as a partner, support some heat. She's a strong lady for Carmella as well. Could be something there. That's how I draft the WWE Women's Division as of next week. I think I think there's something there. I think there's definitely something that there's definitely something here that makes sense to me, of course, because I thought about it. But we'll see what happens, right? I mean, the draft is year after year. The draft to me is really, really weird. I think we get really excited about it, but then it becomes really, really weird. So we'll see what happens. Evan Wright left us a super chat. Thank you very much, Evan. He says, Daily TJ are greater than the Iconics reminder. Okay, thank you for the super chat. That's an open topic for discussion right there. Anakin left us a super chat as well. Thank you very much, Anakin. It says, if it helps, Warren, you can eliminate the women not in the draft pool like Becky and Ronda. Well, Ronda's not. I didn't put her in. She's not even on the roster, I don't think, on WWE.com. And Becky's not in the pool. Well, look, I want Becky to come back, damn it. She's still signed to me. I want her back. But yeah, hey, there you go. That's my draft. Guys, would you like to make your own draft? I'll put the link to my Tiermaker template in the description, so you can go do one as well and share it with me. Twitter or Discord. Let's do that. Let's see how you guys would draft the WWE Women's Division in the next couple of days. It's all going down. Starting tomorrow on SmackDown. Roman Reigns has to stay on SmackDown. Please. That's all I ask. That's really all I want. And I hope he does. So there you have it, folks. We are going to wrap this one up for the evening. I want to thank you all for hanging out this evening again, chatting with me, chatting at me, and having a good time talking about professional wrestling. Be sure to join us over on the Patreon once we're done here. Patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. The post stream is about to start for patrons only. Going to be talking about WWE music and why it stinks and why we're angry about it and how important is music to the presentation. There's a lot of people say, calm down, it's just the music. I disagree. But come find out what the patrons think about it. Patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes is going to start in just a few minutes. But I want to thank you again, everyone, for joining me this evening. Hope you all have a great weekend. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled if I decide to do anything regarding the GCW collective stuff this weekend, because there's a lot of wrestling shows happening this weekend. I'm excited for it. Hope you're excited for it as well. Enjoy, everyone. And if you're in Canada, have a great long weekend. Bye!